It started as an ordinary episode of The View, with the show's hosts assembled around the table, their coffee mugs clutched as they traded morning banter. Johnny Depp had been invited to the panel to discuss his latest film and his views on the state of Hollywood in the wake of his legal battles and career resurgence. The atmosphere in the room was at first cordial, but slightly tense. Everyone knew Depp brought a certain gravity with him after the very public courtroom. A drama. With his ex-wife Amber Heard, Whoopi Goldberg welcomed him with her trademark charisma. And for a moment, it seemed like the segment might sail smoothly. Depp, dressed in his signature layered bohemian style and dark sunglasses, gave calm and thoughtful responses to the early questions. But as the discussion began to veer into more controversial topics, specifically regarding cancel culture, media, manipulation, and Hollywood's shifting moral compass, the energy began to shift. Depp shared his frustration with what he termed selective morality in the entertainment industry, pointing out how quickly the public and media could turn on someone based on accusations, even before the facts emerged. He alluded to his own experience without naming names, and suggested that Hollywood had lost its way, prioritizing optics over truth. The audience listened, intrigued, and some even clapped softly as he spoke candidly. But then Whoopi Goldberg leaned forward, her expression unreadable, and said, "But Johnny, don't you think accountability is necessary too? You talk about cancel culture, but a lot of people feel like it's just consequences." Depp paused, clearly choosing his next words carefully. "Accountability is one thing," he responded. "Justice without due process is another. We can't build an industry, much less a society, in gossip, edited headlines, and public opinion polls." That response sparked an audible reaction from the audience. Whoopi raised an eyebrow, responding with, "But isn't that the same public that made you a star? Isn't it a little hypocritical to enjoy the fame and fortune and then turn around and criticize the very people who gave it to you?" Depp visibly stiffened, his hand tapping slightly on the table. Respectfully, he said, "The audience didn't turn on me. The media did. The audience came back when the truth came out. The people who tried to destroy my name were in boardrooms, not living rooms." At that moment, the tone changed completely. Joy Behar jumped in, backing up Whoopi, and things began escalating fast. What was meant to be a deep conversation began feeling like an ambush, at least from Depp's point of view. He leaned back in his chair, removed his sunglasses, and stared directly at Whoopi. "You've known me for decades," he said. "Is this really how we're doing this?" Whoopi didn't back down. "And I've always said you're a brilliant actor," she replied. "But when you're sitting here saying Hollywood's the villain while forgetting your own part in everything, I'm going to push back." Depp looked genuinely stunned, not expecting this level of confrontation. "I didn't forget anything," he said. "But if we're going to talk about accountability, then let's talk about the enablers too. The studios that silenced truth, the talk shows that ran smear campaigns, the award shows that disinvited people before the trial even began. If you want the full story, don't stop halfway." Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That statement made some in the audience gasp. Others clapped. The show's producers reportedly began signaling to wrap the segment. But the tension had already taken on a life of its own. The argument intensified as Whoopi raised her voice slightly, demanding clarity. "So what exactly are you accusing? This industry of Johnny Depp didn't miss a beat, of being cowardly, of chasing public approval like it's the only currency that matters, of punishing people not for their actions, but for the appearance of guilt before truth even arrives." By now, the energy in the studio was thick. Co-host Sunny Hostin tried to calm the conversation, but even she appeared taken aback by how personal it had become. Whoopi, trying to maintain her composure, said, "We can't pretend like nothing happened. Whether the courts ruled in your favor or not, the damage wasn't one-sided." Depp's face darkened. "That's rich," he said slowly. "When was the last time anyone asked me how much damage I took?" At this point, the situation could no longer be salvaged through smiles and transitions. The studio audience had grown silent. Cameras kept rolling, but everyone sensed that something unprecedented was happening. Johnny Depp, visibly agitated, stood up slowly. The other hosts looked toward the production team, unsure if they should attempt to de-escalate or cut to commercial.
Oh.
But Depp didn't wait. "If this is what passes for dialogue now," he said, "then we've truly lost the plot." Without saying goodbye or acknowledging the hosts, he removed his mic and walked off the set. The camera awkwardly lingered on the table, capturing Whoopi's stunned expression and the stunned silence that followed. Moments later, the broadcast abruptly cut to a commercial break. Asterisk backstage. Reports say Depp left the building almost immediately. Escorted by his security detail, producers scrambled to manage the fallout. Within minutes, social media lit up. Clips of the confrontation spread across platforms. On Twitter, the hashtags #DeppOnTheView and #JohnnyWalksOff began trending. Supporters of Depp praised him for standing his ground and called the segment a setup. Critics accused him of being unable to handle tough questions. The debate spiraled into a broader conversation about media responsibility, interview, ethics, and how much grace is owed to celebrities with complicated public histories. Within an hour, several media outlets ran headlines like "Johnny Depp storms off the View set," "Intense exchange between Depp and Goldberg goes viral." Asterisk that evening, Whoopi Goldberg briefly addressed the confrontation on her Instagram. "Liv," she said, "sometimes interviews don't go the way you expect. We invited Johnny to speak his truth, and he did. We asked questions, and it got heated. That's live television." She didn't apologize or point fingers, but maintained a calm and measured tone. Depp, on the other hand, remained silent. No statements, no tweets, just silence. Oh, but his fans didn't stay quiet. They flooded comment sections, shared videos, created memes, and reignited the debate around his legacy. Even celebrities began weighing in, some siding with Whoopi, others saying Depp had every right to walk away from what they saw as a hostile environment. Asterisk analysts pointed out how the moment highlighted the deep cultural divide in how we perceive public figures, especially those who've been through public trials. Some saw Depp as a cautionary tale, others as a symbol of redemption. The way the incident cemented itself as another headline in the never-ending saga of Hollywood versus talk show culture. It exposed the fragile balance between authenticity and performance in the age of viral media. And most of all, it showed how one wrong turn in a live segment could spark an international conversation overnight. It's not about a movie or even about Johnny Depp himself, but about trust, second chances, and the power of walking away when a table turns into a courtroom.